What does it take to unify a fractured land when warlords rule and betrayal could end a life in an instant? In 16th century Japan, chaos was normal. For over a century, samurai leaders fought an endless game of power. Then, an unassuming patient survivor began turning the tide. Tokugawa Ieyasu, born in 1543, was the son of a minor daimyo, a feudal lord in a land torn by warlords, ambition, and constant betrayal. By age 6, he was a political hostage. As a child, Ieyasu learned early that trust could be deadly and that patience could keep you alive. Trapped between rival clans, the Imagawa and the Oda, young Ieyasu was shuffled like a piece on a chessboard, powerless. It was a masterclass in survival. But Ieyasu had something the others didn't. He was willing to wait. He watched as Oda Nobunaga rose from obscurity to seize power, sparking a revolution of almost mythic proportions. When Nobunaga was suddenly assassinated, chaos should have returned. Instead, it was the turn of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, another brilliant tactician. Ieyasu always stayed just close enough to the center of power, never its target, never its victim. Historians call Ieyasu the great survivor. He outlasted them all. When Hideyoshi died in 1598, the stage was set for Ieyasu's next move, unifying all of Japan under his rule. The new ruler faced more than a patchwork of squabbling lords. Ieyasu confronted a country exhausted by violence, but suspicious of authority. He knew swords and armies alone weren't enough. So, Ieyasu chose his moment. 1600, at the historic Battle of Sekigahara. Two immense armies met in the mist. Ieyasu commanded one side, his rivals the other. But nothing in this battle was certain. As fighting raged, Ieyasu had made secret deals. He bet on treachery. At the moment of truth, key samurai turned traitor, joining Ieyasu's side mid-battle. His enemy's lines collapsed. Sekigahara became a crushing Tokugawa victory. With one day's gamble, Ieyasu became master of Japan. But unifying a nation takes more than crushing the opposition. Ieyasu built an enduring system, the Tokugawa Shogunate. For over 250 years, his descendants ruled as shoguns, military dictators, over a peaceful, insular nation cut off from the outside world. Ieyasu's policies created a closed country with rigid social classes, strict laws, and harsh punishments against rebellion. Samurai became bureaucrats, not just warriors. Merchants grew rich, while the old aristocracy faded. Ieyasu understood that power is not only seized, it must be maintained. To keep feudal lords loyal, he invented the Sankin Kotai. Every domain lord had to reside part-time in Edo and leave their families there as hostages, a system that brought both peace and watchful surveillance. His edicts for the military houses shaped samurai conduct for generations. His legal codes rewrote justice. Order replaced chaos. Villages thrived under the samurai's scrutiny as long as everyone knew their place. But not all was peaceful. Christianity, once encouraged for its trade links, was brutally repressed. Ieyasu saw foreign religion as a threat to the state and expelled missionaries, executing converts. It was a chilling message. Japan would serve no masters, foreign or domestic. Tokugawa Ieyasu did not live to see every part of his legacy. He died in 1616, leaving a carefully constructed society and a warning to his heirs: never relax, never trust in peace. The Tokugawa era, or Edo period, would last until 1868, untouched by foreign wars, a time of arts, culture, and samurai spectacle. And yet, when black ships appeared off the Japanese coast in the 19th century, bearing American guns and demands the world Ieyasu built, trembled. Today, Tokugawa Ieyasu is remembered throughout Japan as a cunning unifier, a ruthless survivor, and the architect of the longest peace in the nation's history. He taught that patience can be as deadly as the sword, and that sometimes the quietest man in the room reshapes a country's fate. So next time you see the cherry blossoms blooming near a Japanese castle, remember, their peace was not always guaranteed. It was built, piece by piece, by a master of power who waited decades to claim his moment. But what really endures? The iron rule of a shogun, or the unending cycle of ambition? Does peace built on vigilance last, or is the shadow of chaos never far behind? The story of Tokugawa Ieyasu is proof. Sometimes the greatest conqueror is the one who masters himself and remakes a nation by waiting for exactly the right time to act. If you want to know what happened when the old order collapsed and how Japan's doors were finally forced open, stay tuned for our next episode. Because the echoes of Ieyasu's legacy still shape Japan today.